Straight into today's video, one thing that is horrible with the Subarus is grounding. I'll be driving the car and sometimes the entire car will just shut off. When I do more research, I think it has to do with my grounding. Now this is a 2004, so the thing's like what, 21, 22 years old at this point, and there's some corrosion happening. Grounding can suck. Grounding already sucks on Subarus, but let's add 20 plus years. It's probably worse. Today, I'm gonna install IWIRE's grounding kit. I'm gonna walk through it and then I'm gonna show you guys me doing this. You guys can follow along. So this right here is a base, and this right here is also a like grounding itself. And then you got one small one, and then you have one medium one and two long ones. So the way I'm gonna set this up is I'm gonna put the base. I'm actually gonna remove this entirely today. So I'm gonna mount the base. Hopefully it's like maybe here or somewhere in this area where it's gonna be more hidden. The next one, this guy needs to connect to the same grounding spot that your battery's grounded to. So on this 04, the grounding is right there, and it's pretty easy to see. It's that wire right there. So you want it to route to the same grounding location. The next one is this guy here. This needs to mount to the top of your intake manifold. Now this is where it's super important because a lot of people run like the phenolic or phenolic spacers or whatever. And so that adds, you know, this much or this, I don't know how much, 3 or 8 millimeters, where it's not metal, it's what is it, like some sort of plastic, to where this is no longer a ground spot that used to be a ground spot. I mean, you see right here, there's a grounding wire here and a ground wire here, but it's not getting the ground that it's supposed to. So I'm gonna route one to the top of this, that way this still stays at ground, because the whole point of this is we're routing ground spots all together into one piece that makes every spot that we're connecting to a better ground. The next two, one of them, I'm gonna connect to the back of the alternator here, this bracket. And then the final one, I need to connect to the block itself. So what I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna remove the intercooler and put it somewhere down in that area there. First thing I'm gonna do is disconnect the ground battery, being that we are messing, or the negative terminal on the battery, being that we're messing with the grounding. I don't want to cause any issues with you know, sparking or anything. You can see right here that it is the same wire. I'm gonna put a rag under that so we reduce that chance. I'm gonna go ahead and start disconnecting this guy, because this thing is probably one of the biggest eyesores in this engine bed. Didn't film a lot there because I was trying to find a good ground, somewhere to place, you know, the base of this grounding harness. This guy right here. Over here didn't work. Gosh dang it. Over there didn't really work. And so I pulled the battery thinking, well, maybe there's something under the battery. There's nothing under the battery. So as I'm digging my head around this gap, I noticed this little guy right here. Don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that? There's a nut bolt right there. Right there. That bracket right there pulls the fuse box. So I thought, that's perfect. That's literally perfect. It's completely hidden by the fuse box, and the battery's right here, so it's gonna hide wires. Wires go this way to the engine because obviously this is a fuse box, so I can run all the wires with the wires, and it's gonna look totally OEM. Clean up under there first. Obviously filthy, like everything else in this car. Go. Now let's put it back in. Go. Start routing these wires a little bit. Perfect. I wonder. This little green box, this little green thing is gonna make kind of an issue. I'm gonna grind this down to where I can mount it like this way on here. So I need to cut some of this off. But it looks like there's a little dimple here that holds it in place. got it mounted in there. I have it mounted right here. So it's on the back of this plate here and everything fits just like OEM. Worked out great. So I'm gonna find the shortest wire, which will be this guy. I'm going to route it up to fit to the, there's like no metal in this car, it's wild. No wonder grounding sucks. I'm gonna pull this one out so it can be by itself. Don't have anything in its way. I'm gonna pull this out. It's gonna go along basically the frame here, curl, and touch into there. Oh yeah, corrosion on this guy. Wipe some of that off. It kind of got like a bluish feel to it. See, that's really good ground. All right, so this one's obviously more important. So we'll do this one at the top. Do this one, followed by this guy. Got it all mounted up. The new ground wire for the IWIRE kit is in the factory wire section for the battery. Now I have the rest of these to do. So it's gonna be super nice because I can just essentially run them all with the factory wires up into the engine bay and I'm trying to make it look as OEM as possible. Obviously I don't want to have these random wires, you know, everywhere. It'd be cool if I can get it into this loom here. That'd be really cool. Get it into that loom and just run it along it and just have it pop out. Run it along here so it maintains factory look. It like barely grips. And then I can just, yeah, see, like you can't even tell it's there. And then I'll kind of loop it around and connect it right there. This guy, which will go to there. So realistically, I don't think there's any other cleaner way to do this one than to just put it under this big contraption right here and then just have it come up. Kind of sucks because it's kind of ugly. Alright, there's that one. I know for me, I will be doing the phenolic spacer at some point. Break that loose. All right, so this is what's on the back of it. So I'm just gonna mount this guy under here, essentially like that, and then screw the bolt into it. All right, there we go. Looking at it, there is a ground right here. There's actually a couple of spots I could ground it that goes straight to the block. So this one secures this hose here, which I believe is like a coolant hose, into the throttle body. All right, go. Tighten. So I use this guy right here. This holds the, what I believe is the coolant line for the throttle body. Held it on that one there and just routed it up in this jungle right here of wires, and then back to this thing. So that's pretty much it. I have, what, I added technically 5 grounds now on top of what the grounds already were. So being that I grounded it amongst many parts of the engine bay, and I even attached it to the factory ground spot, the platform is going to be way more grounded. I know grounding doesn't seem very cool because it's not, but it's a huge help. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. I'll see you guys next video. Bye.